In section 3.1, we're going to look at using some new symbols and learning a couple of vocabulary words. Some of them you've probably seen before, but mainly a bunch of new symbols. So what we're going to look at is what are called measures of center, different ways of measuring the center of the data. Well, the first one that you learn probably in all of math when you're looking at data is how to find the mean. The mean is a fancy word for finding the average. How do you do that? It means you add up everything and divide by however many things you have. So what we're going to start seeing is this symbol. Looks like a big E, and it's a summation symbol. It's the uppercase Greek letter sigma. And what it means add. That funny little symbol just means add. So if you look up the equation or the kind of the formula for mean, you see this little E thing in front of X, which just means add up all your data. The X's are data, and the little E thing means add them all up. That sigma thing means add up everything. So we're going to add up all of our data. The N on the bottom of our formula means to do what we already do, which is to divide by however many things we have. Whether it's a sample or a population, it doesn't matter. You're going to always divide by however many things you have. That's how you find averages. However, we do want to get used to using our different symbols. This fancy symbol is the Greek letter mu. And we're going to use that for the population mean. We usually use the fancy letters, the Greek letters, for stuff that's talking about the population. So we're going to use this a lot, so don't blow it off. Even though we don't use it a lot in this chapter, we're going to use it a lot throughout the course. So might as well get used to it. The next symbol that we're going to see is also a symbol for the mean, but it's a symbol for a sample mean, and that's a little bit easier to look at. It's got an X with a little bar on top. That is our symbol for a mean, but finding the sample mean. So both of them, though, even though they look different, tell us to do the same thing. Add up everything and divide by however many things you have. You would have known how to do that probably before this class. That's what the mean means. Add up everything and divide by however many things you have. However, the median is a little bit different. The median means that you're trying to find the middle of the data. Well, if you want to find the middle of a set of data, you first have to put it in order. You can't find the middle unless it's in order, or each time you'd get a different middle. So it has to be put in order. You do not see this symbol much, but if you do see a symbol for median, it'll be X with a little tilde symbol. The tilde symbol is like a little swoop over your X. Again, it's really not used much. You'll hear the word median. You won't really see that symbol. Mode means the data item or items that happen the most. That's what it means for highest frequency. Whatever happens the most. So you might have just one mode where just one number happens more than everything else, but you could have two. That's what bimodal means. Or you could have multimodal, which means you have multiple numbers that occur more than once. Or, this is bizarre, but you could have no mode. Quick example of a group of numbers with no mode is this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got 4 data entries and they all occur once. So nothing occurs more than anything else. So your mode is, there isn't one. The mid-range. Okay, this is probably a word you have not heard yet. So the way I kind of break down the mid-range and what it means by looking at its root words. The mid means the middle. How do you find the middle? It means you average two things. Well, what are you going to average? The range. What's the range? Your highest and your lowest. So what are you averaging? Your max and your min. How do you average your max and your min? You add them up and divide by 2. That's what your mid-range is. You're averaging your highest and lowest, adding them up and dividing by 2. This term we're not going to really use a lot, but here it is. An outlier is a data entry that is far away from everything else. So a good example of this would be if I gave a data set like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 50. 50 is going to be your outlier because it's so far away from everything else in your data set. And usually when you're dealing with data, you remove outliers because they are just so far off the rest of your data that if you actually include it in your data, it will skew your results. But some people believe you shouldn't get rid of outliers because they're there for a reason. It just depends. So let's take a look at a couple of examples where we're given an entire data set and we're asked to find the mean, the median, the mode, and the mid-range. Okay. So let's take a look at this first example. An instructor recorded the test grades on test 1 for his probability and statistics class. Let's find the mean, median, mode, and mid-range. Well, the mean, I'm going to use the right symbols here. We're going to use the symbol for mean is X and a bar. So we've got a sample here. How do you find the mean? It means you're going to go ahead and take all of your data and add them all up. So we'd have, again, I'm going to get used to the symbol, add them all up. Okay, and then we'll divide by however many numbers we have. That's what this fancy little formula says. So we'll add up the 100, the 75, the 82, the 88, the 81, the 94. We'll add up the 100, the 75, the 82, the 88, the 81, the 94, the 69, the 78, the 10, the 82, and the 65. When we're all done with that, we'll divide by however many numbers there are, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we'll figure out what that value is. So what we end up getting on top, when we add up all of our numbers, the 100, the 75, the 82, everything, when we add up all those numbers, we get 824. Divided by however many numbers we had, which in this case was 11, which gives us a 74.9 as his class average. That's what the mean is, class average. Now, in order to find the second thing he wanted us to find, which was the median, I need to put that means to find the middle, I need to put it in order. So I'm going to start out with the smallest first and rewrite everything up on top, which is the 10. Then the next smallest would be let's see, a 65. And I'm going to cross them off as I go so I don't miss anything. Next would be, looks like a 69 and a 75, 78, let's see, 81, 82. Oh, there's another 82, 88, 94, and 100. So how do I find the middle? So what we're going to do to find the middle is kind of chop off the ends one pair at a time. So I'm going to chop off the 10 and the 100. And I'm going to keep on doing this one pair at a time until I get to the middle. 65 and 94 will get chopped off. Now back to 69 and 88. Keep on chopping off one pair at a time. I'm going to alternate colors so I don't get confused. 75 and 82, then 78 and 82, which leaves me with one middle number. It leaves me with 81, so that's my median. And I'm done with the median. Mode is what number occurs the most. Well, there's only one number that occurs more than anything else in this entire data set, and that's the number 82. It's the only thing that occurs more than once. So our mode is 82. What's our mid-range? Our mid-range is to average the highest and lowest value. Well, the highest value was 100. The lowest was 10. So if we want to average those two, 100 plus 10, and then divide it by 2. Well, that's 110 divided by 2, which is 55. That's our